Welcome back to Sous Vide Everything, guys. I love history, and there's no way I'm gonna pass the opportunity of cooking one of the oldest steak recipe in America. Check it out. But not only am I making some incredible steaks, I'm also preparing some mouth-watering side dishes that should pair up nicely with these beautiful steaks. Even though this steak recipe was created decades ago, I'll be using the latest and most innovative methods to get the job done. And of course, everything starts with these beautiful pieces of meat. They are Wagyu Marbling Score 5 Filet Mignon tips. And let's just say these are some thick boys. To be a little bit more specific, they weigh 10 ounces each. The first thing I like to do is to move them to a steak plate so that I don't lose any of my seasoning. Talking about that, I only use salt, freshly ground black pepper, and garlic powder. Filet mignon is one of those cuts that required a little extra seasoning on them, so don't be shy and make sure you add enough. To cook them, of course, I'm going to be using sous vide, and for that, I just gotta throw them in the bag, vacuum seal them, and now they are ready to be slow cooked to perfection, which is perfect because it allows me time to cook my first beautiful side dish. And this is roasted bone marrow. They are so easy to make, and let me tell you something, they pack a big, huge punch of flavor. Everything starts with these. As you can see, they do not look that great. And the first step is 100% optional because it's all about the presentation. I'm talking about cleaning the edges because it's not going to improve any of the flavor. But sometimes, as we all know, we first eat with our eyes and not our mouth. So making the food look great is 50% of the job. And as you can see, once I was done, I was left with some pretty clean bones. You can go even farther and get them even more clean. But for me, this is good enough. To season them, I like to make a little cocktail of oil and herbs. I first started by chopping some rosemary. If you enjoy a strong flavor, just chop them large. But if you do like a little hint just like me, give them a fine chop just like this. And to make things easy, I like to use a food processor. I started by throwing in 4 cloves of garlic. Then the rosemary we just chopped and blend everything fine. To finish it off, all I have to do is add a good quality olive oil and my oil herb mix is ready. To roast the bone marrow, you gotta keep in mind that this thing is just like butter. They melt, so you want to use something that will catch that goodness. Please don't let it go to waste. I'm using these awesome steak sizzling plates, and I think they are just perfect for it. Now you want to add enough of the oil and herb mix we just made. And when I say enough, maybe I meant a lot of it. Because as they are roasting, the olive oil will be flavored with not only the bone marrow but also the garlic and rosemary. And to enhance the flavor even more, I threw in a little bit of flaky salt and cayenne pepper, making it taste awesome. To cook them, the best way is to put it in your oven at the high broiler setting. 10 minutes is good enough. But you gotta keep an eye on it. As you know, garlic burns. And if you leave it for too long, depending on how thick your pieces of garlic is, they will burn real quick. And since you know it's cooking on the broiler setting, you know it's fast. It's like one of those dishes that you should only prepare at the last minute before serving. Mine took exactly 10 minutes. And the smell that comes out of this thing is absolutely insane. Now the perfect combination for this is some Texas garlic toast. Because when you pair them together, it is hard to explain, but I'll try my best to describe. So this right here is one of those things that you gotta eat it right away. You know, you cannot wait too long. It's just like butter, everybody. And of course, do not put too much. Just a little bit is plenty. And let me see. You know, it has a nice beefy flavor, but it's also buttery. And the garlic that is roasted is just another level, let me tell you. You know, usually when I make the videos, I only get to eat it in the end and not right away when it's extremely hot. I sometimes just get to try it. I'll tell you one thing, everybody. There's nothing like eating it hot as it comes out. Oh my God, it's delicious, guys. Another side dish to go along with our steak is going to be these awesome onion rings. And I don't know about you, but I like mine extra crispy. The first thing to do is to make a batter, and for that I added all-purpose flour, followed by cornstarch, smoked paprika, salt, and freshly ground black pepper. Mix everything well and ensure that everything is perfectly combined. Add water little by little. We're looking for a runny but also thick batter. To be specific, this is what you're looking for. There is no rule on what type of onions you need to use, but I chose these white sweet onions. I think they give the best results as you can find them nice and large. And to me at least, they have an awesome taste. When cutting them, I like to keep them nice and thick. Because if you chop them too thin, I mean, come on, they're just gonna disappear. We're making onion rings after all. Once I coat them with the batter, I immediately throw in some breadcrumbs. Because if you don't do that, the coating will start sliding down. So the ideal thing to do is to immediately throw them in the hot oil. You wanna keep a precise temperature of 350 degrees Fahrenheit the best you can. I'm using this induction burner which is called Control Freak. Now This thing is a beast, and it can do so many things. But one of them is that it will keep an automatically precise temperature you set. It uses a probe that you stick it into the unit and also the oil. And the best part is that you can rest assured that it will keep that temperature to perfection just like sous vide. Even when you drop down the food, it will control the settings and make sure your target temperature is always where you want it to be. Now, do you need one of these to deep fry your onion rings? No, you don't. But since I do have one, I love to use it because it makes the job fun and easy to do. I can really concentrate on the food and not on the temperature. And let me tell you something, it is great because it gives me awesome results just like this. Perfectly cooked just the way it should be. Each onion rings takes about 1 to 2 minutes to cook. And just like every other fried food, it should be eaten right away. It smells incredible. Nice and crunchy. That breading is fantastic. I mean, I never heard of this, but again, you don't knock it until you try it. You know what I mean? Bone marrow with onion rings, everybody. Cheers. It's good, but it seems like the onion rings overpower the actual bone marrow. This onion ring deserves kind of like a simple sauce where you put a little bit of mayo together with hot sauce, mix it well, and your sauce is done. Just like that. That's the way you should do it because it's nice and simple. A little bit right on top over here. Let's see if that's a better combination than the bone marrow because the bone marrow was amazing. That's how you should do it. I gotta be careful with these onion rings because I can eat the whole thing. And the bone marrow right here on top, man, that is amazing. A little bit of roasted garlic. Oh man. Okay, I need to stop. The final thing I want to prepare is a tasty sauce that will pair perfectly with the steaks. The first and most important ingredients are these black peppercorn. You can use a pestle and mortar for this, or anything else, even a cast iron skillet, because all you really want to do is to crush them and not make them into powder. You're looking for them to be nice and coarse, just like this. Into a saucepan, I added a little bit of olive oil, followed by a little bit of shallots and the crushed black peppercorn we just made. You want to keep everything on the medium-low heat so that we don't burn our shallots. However, at the same time, we do want them to brown, but of course not burn. Then add a good bourbon to deglaze the pan. Wait about 2 seconds, and as the vapor rises, you can set the alcohol on fire. This should prevent you from having a huge fireball and making a more controlled burn just like this. Now, is this really necessary? No, it is not. But it will burn the alcohol faster and it also looks kinda cool. But if you let it boil for a while, you will have the same exact results. Then add a little bit of your favorite red wine and let it reduce to half. As it's doing so, I added one of my favorite things to add to sauces. It is called demi-glaze. Now you can make this at home from scratch, but if you want to save a lot of time, just order online just like I did. Because I'll tell you something, making this incredible substance is something heavenly, and you should definitely have at your disposal anytime. To finish off the sauce, the only thing left to do is to add a little bit of heavy cream and mix everything well to ensure everything is combined together. Because once you have done so, your sauce is done. That is as good as it gets. And I can only imagine how awesome it's gonna taste with those incredible steaks. Talking about that, I'll be cooking them sous vide at 131 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. And I really can't wait to find out how they're gonna taste. I got my beautiful filet mignons cooked. As you already know, it was cooked at 131 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. That will give you perfection for these beautiful filet mignons. But they are ready and it's time to take them out. Let's do it. If you could only smell how wonderful they smell. As soon as they come out of the bag, you already know it's gonna be something amazing. Let me tell you. Now here's the deal, everybody. I'm really curious about this technique, you know? And the way it works is you basically put breadcrumbs around the steak and then pan sear it to give it a nice crust. I've never actually tried anything like that unless you go ahead and just deep fry the whole thing, which is amazing. But I'm wondering if pan searing it sous vide, it's gonna overcook the steak. At the same time, I can't wait to find out how it's gonna taste. But the second one, I am not gonna do that. I am just gonna go straight out flamethrower because we know that works well and almost nothing beats it. So now I say, I know it doesn't look that good right now, but watch this. There's my take on this old-fashioned steak. The only thing left to do is to give it a try. I'll tell you one thing, everybody. This method is kind of weird, and the reason is because a lot of the breadcrumbs are just left behind on the pan instead of sticking it to the meat itself. But at the same time, the only thing that is important is the actual taste. You already know what the onion rings taste like, and the bone marrow. Definitely give that a go. Let you guys know if it was worth it. I think the sauce is gonna be a huge deal. Cheers, everybody. Wow, that sauce is amazing. The breadcrumbs, there's almost none left, so it defeats the purpose of actually doing it this way, you know what I mean? I think that's why they put this technique to rest. If I grab the flamethrower one, and if I just try the flamethrower one by itself, let me see how this one tastes. That's 100 times better. If I grab a little bit of the flamethrower and rub it in the sauce and oh boy, there's not even a chance. The flamethrower wins hands down. I don't understand why they used to do this technique long time ago. Maybe they're trying to get a nice crumbly crust, but at the same time, it's absolutely not worth doing it. I don't recommend this technique whatsoever. But if you think that this filet mignon is gonna go to waste, Anyway, guys, these are the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my take on all of these different ingredients. If you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in anything I use, everything is always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Today is actually a weekend, and I prepared this wonderful meal for my family because everybody else is at home. So I gotta give it to them because they are asking. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.